Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because the hospital walls just shook harder than Twitter after Elon Musk sneezes. We're talking a scandal so jaw-dropping, so neck-snappingly absurd, that even the Kardashians are sitting there like, wow, this might actually be too messy for us. Tiny. Yes, the pint-sized powerhouse has collapsed, and the reason? King Harris just dropped a life-threatening update that makes soap operas look like documentaries. Forget Netflix, forget Hulu, forget your grandma's boring Hallmark dramas. This is the blockbuster leak no one saw coming. Doctors are whispering, nurses are gasping, and the vending machine in the hallway is shaking like it knows the tea. And you? Oh, you're about to get the inside scoop so hot it makes a jalapeno look like a cucumber. This isn't just gossip, it's a meltdown. A revelation, a scandal dipped in sarcasm, deep-fried in controversy, and served with a side of outrageous exaggeration. We're diving into betrayal, secrets, and public meltdowns so messy they make Love and Hip Hop look like Sesame Street. So grab your popcorn, clutch your pearls, and for the love of scandal, don't you dare click away, because what's coming will rewrite the definition of drama. The first whispers of this scandal didn't leak out of TMZ, didn't crawl out of Twitter, and didn't even come from your cousin's best friend who knows someone on the inside. No, this one burst out of the hospital itself, like a scandal grenade lobbed directly into the group chat of the nation. Picture this: fluorescent hospital lights flickering like they just saw a ghost, nurses sprinting down hallways with clipboards shaking like maracas, and in the middle of it all, Tiny. The same Tiny who's been through more drama than a reality show reunion episode, suddenly collapsing like the final Jenga block at a drunk family barbecue. And just when the chaos felt like enough, boom! King Harris opens his mouth with a life-threatening update so insane, so nerve-melting, that it made the ER feel like the stage of a dystopian soap opera. Let's rewind for a second, because we can't just skip straight into the meltdown without appreciating the buildup. Scandals are like roller coasters. You've got to hear the click, click, click before the plunge rips your stomach into outer space. Tiny, rapper, businesswoman, drama magnet extraordinaire, has been in the spotlight longer than some TikTok stars have been alive. From music industry success to being half of one of hip-hop's most infamous power couples, her life has always been less American dream and more American telenovela. And standing beside her, King Harris, the walking headline generator, the chaos incarnate, the guy who treats controversy like it's a sport and he's training for the Olympics. So when reports started circling that Tiny had collapsed, fans braced themselves. Collapse? That's serious. Hospital? That's terrifying. But then, King Harris jumped in with his so-called life-threatening update, and suddenly, serious turned into catastrophic. Catastrophic turned into outrageous. And outrageous turned into somebody call Bravo and give this man his own reality spin-off. The update wasn't whispered carefully. It wasn't tucked away in a sterile press release. No, King Harris delivered his bombshell with all the subtlety of a marching band at a funeral. Cameras rolling, phones recording, and his words. They hit like a sledgehammer dipped in gasoline. Life-threatening. He didn't say serious. Condition. Didn't say stable but under. Observation. Didn't say we're praying for her. Recovery. No. He said life-threatening, and suddenly the hospital wasn't just a hospital anymore. It was the set of a global scandal. Fans lost it. Social media didn't just react, it combusted. Twitter threads spun faster than washing machines. TikToks popped up with dramatic reenactments, and YouTube reactors were foaming at the mouth. One fan wrote, "This is bigger than the Super Bowl halftime show." Another tweeted, "Why do I feel like I'm watching a crossover episode of Grey's Anatomy and Love and Hip Hop?" And honestly, they weren't wrong. But here's the kicker. The real scandal juice dripping all over this mess, people started questioning whether King Harris's update was even true. That's right. Within minutes, the whispers turned into roars. Is Tiny's condition being exaggerated? Did King Harris throw gasoline on a candle just to make the flames look like fireworks? Because, let's face it, King Harris is not exactly the poster child for understatement. If subtlety were a class, he would have dropped out on the first day, sold the syllabus, and filmed a diss track about it. And so, the hospital corridors filled not just with worried fans, but with suspicion. Journalists scrambled like they were competing in the Hunger Games of gossip. Some swore they saw staff rolling their eyes. Others claimed doctors were muttering under their breath, "Why do you have to say that?" The more people dug, the more it looked like King Harris had turned a medical emergency into a blockbuster scandal. And the audience? Hooked Addicted, injecting this drama straight into their veins like caffeine on a Monday morning. Let's be real for a second. Collapses happen. Medical emergencies happen. But what doesn't usually happen is a play-by-play dripping with enough exaggeration to make a Michael Bay movie look understated. If Tiny sneezed, King Harris would probably announce to the world she just fought for her life against the air itself. That's the level of dramatic flair we're dealing with here. And people know it. That's why the whispers of, "Is this for real?" got louder, bolder, and nastier. Then came the reactions from within the hip-hop community. Oh, you thought everyone was going to sit quietly and send thoughts and prayers? Absolutely not. The hip-hop world is like Thanksgiving dinner. You've got the supportive aunt, the messy cousin, the jealous sibling, and that one uncle who says the most chaotic thing possible just for the reaction. Within hours, we saw posts, subtweets, cryptic Instagram stories, and memes. Oh, the memes. Someone photoshopped King Harris delivering his statement while standing in front of a burning hospital, holding a mic like he was dropping the hottest mixtape of the year. Another meme compared the life-threatening update to those fake school fights where kids scream, "World Star!" before anyone even throws a punch. And while the memes flew, King Harris doubled down. Because of course he did. If there's one thing he loves more than controversy, it's stirring the pot until the entire kitchen catches fire. Instead of clarifying, instead of calming fans, he kept speaking in riddles. It's deeper than y'all know. Some truths are too dangerous. Excuse me? Are we dealing with a medical emergency or the plot of a Dan Brown novel? Suddenly, people weren't just worried about Tiny. They were chasing conspiracy theories like they were Olympic sprinters. And that's how the scandal escalated from celebrity collapses in hospital to the nation is spiraling into chaos. News outlets scrambled to get the scoop, podcasts recorded emergency episodes, and YouTubers, hi, that's us, had enough content to fuel an entire docuseries. And yet the mystery only grew. Was Tiny really fighting for her life? Or was King Harris milking every ounce of drama like a reality show producer on steroids? This is where the first wave of public division hit. On one side, you had the fans sobbing into their Instagram stories, begging everyone to pray for Tiny like it was a trending hashtag campaign. On the other, you had the skeptics rolling their eyes so hard they needed chiropractic care, muttering, "Here we go again, another Harris headline circus." And stuck in the middle, the hospital staff probably wondering why their emergency ward suddenly felt like the backstage of the VMAs. Think about it. When's the last time you heard a hospital described as life-threatening by a family member before doctors even finished their assessment? That's like walking into a car wash and declaring, "The apocalypse is here." It's dramatic, it's chaotic, and it's so King Harris. But the problem? This isn't just drama anymore. It's life, death, reputation, and millions of fans caught in the storm. And the bigger question lingers like a ghost. If this is only the beginning, how much wilder can it get? Because if King Harris's words have already turned a collapse into a worldwide headline, what's waiting in the shadows? Secrets, betrayals, celebrity meltdowns that'll make you forget about Will Smith and the Oscars slap? Whatever it is, buckle up. Because this scandal roller coaster hasn't even hit its first loop yet. If you thought the collapse itself was dramatic, oh honey, the aftermath was like tossing Mentos into a 2-liter bottle of Diet Coke. Explosions everywhere. Tiny was still lying in a hospital bed, doctors doing what doctors do. But outside, the world turned into a circus powered by memes, celebrity shade, and public outrage so loud you'd think Beyoncé herself had announced she was quitting music to become a librarian. First came the celebrity reactions. Now, celebrities are messy by nature. Half of them are clout chasers, the other half are drama addicts, and together they create an ecosystem more unstable than Kanye West's Twitter account. Within minutes, Instagram lit up with cryptic posts. One rapper wrote, "Not surprised? Some people bring storms to their own homes." Another singer went full Shakespearean with, "What's done in the dark will always collapse in the light." Excuse me? Collapse in the light? Who gave them the script to this soap opera? Are we still talking about a hospital emergency or the deleted scenes of a telenovela? And then came the memes. Oh, the glorious internet memes. One genius posted a photo of King Harris standing dramatically in a hospital hallway with the caption, "When you tell the doctor it's life-threatening, but WebMD only said dehydration." Another viral tweet read, "King Harris describing Tiny's collapse is like Michael Bay directing a sneeze." Savage, brutal, and painfully accurate. But the internet wasn't just laughing, it was divided. Half the crowd believed King Harris like he was Moses delivering commandments straight off the mountaintop. The other half, they smelled exaggeration stronger than Axe body spray at a middle school dance. Hashtags started trending. Pray for Tiny, King of Drama, Hospital Hollywood. And when hashtags collide, you know the situation has officially jumped the shark. Meanwhile, King Harris was not helping. No, instead of calming the chaos, he leaned in like a professional troll. He jumped on Instagram Live, eyes wild, voice low, saying, "Y'all don't even know the half of it. This is bigger than the hospital, bigger than me, bigger than her." Sir, you are not uncovering state secrets. You're talking about your mother collapsing in a hospital. The way he spoke, you'd think he uncovered a government conspiracy involving Area 51, the Illuminati, and a talking raccoon. And the more outrageous he got, the more celebrities piled on. Reality stars posted sending love while secretly grinning. Rappers posted stay strong while sliding into DMs for gossip. And influencers did what influencers do best, milk the tragedy for likes. One influencer even posted a tearful video, mascara streaming like Niagara Falls, confessing she felt Tiny's energy collapse through the universe. Sis, please. The only energy you felt was the algorithm rewarding your fake crying. Of course, the tabloids went nuclear. Headlines screamed things like, "Tiny on the brink, King Harris says it's life or death," and "Collapse in the kingdom, Harris clan in turmoil." One outlet even compared it to the royal scandals in Britain, calling it America's own Buckingham mess. Except instead of tea and scones, we've got hospital gowns and hashtags. And let's be real, Meghan Markle's Oprah interview was dramatic, but even that didn't involve memes of vending machines shaking in fear. As the storm brewed, conspiracy theories started bubbling up like toxic soup. People began claiming this was all a PR stunt, cooked up to overshadow another scandal brewing in the Harris family. "They're distracting us," one Twitter user wrote. "Mark my words." Another said, "This is the new age of celebrity marketing. Collapse, exaggerate, profit." Suddenly, Tiny's health crisis wasn't just about health anymore. It was about narrative control, clout economics, and whether King Harris was the P.T. Barnum of his generation. And the pop culture comparisons. Some said this felt like when Britney shaved her head. Chaotic, unpredictable, unforgettable. Others compared it to the Will Smith slap. Sudden, shocking, and endlessly memeable. But my personal favorite? Someone said, "This is like Game of Thrones Season 8. Confusing, messy, and no one asked for it." Brutal, but accurate. Let's not forget the fans who turned this chaos into entertainment. TikTok was flooded with reenactments. Kids collapsing dramatically in living rooms, parents pretending to be doctors, gasping, life-threatening. Before fainting themselves, one video even staged a parody where King Harris storms into the ER with a megaphone screaming, "This is bigger than y'all know," before being escorted out by fake security. Millions of views, millions. The internet doesn't sleep, but it does clown, and it clowns hard. Meanwhile, the hospital staff, real-life heroes trying to do their jobs, got dragged into the spotlight unwillingly. Someone leaked a blurry photo of what looked like nurses side-eyeing King Harris mid-rant. Another leak claimed a doctor muttered, "Can someone muzzle this boy?" Now, was it true? Probably not. But in Scandalland, truth doesn't matter. What matters is how juicy the lie tastes. And oh boy, the internet devoured it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. But here's the twist no one saw coming. While King Harris kept doubling down on his life-threatening narrative, insiders whispered something different. Tiny was stable. Stable! Not fighting for her life, not dangling off the edge of existence, just stable. And if that was true, then the entire meltdown wasn't just exaggerated, it was a full-blown, Oscar-worthy performance from King Harris. Think about it. This man might have single-handedly hijacked a hospital emergency and turned it into a global soap opera. And people couldn't look away. At this point, celebrities started shading him directly. One rapper tweeted, "Stop milking your mama's pain for clout." Another simply posted a clown emoji, subtle, savage, effective. Even comedians got involved. A late-night host joked, "Doctors say Tiny is stable." King Harris says she's battling Voldemort. The audience roared. King Harris, meanwhile, probably roared louder. Because controversy is his oxygen and sarcasm is his caffeine. The chaos escalated when fans outside the hospital started live streaming, treating the entrance like a red carpet. People screamed questions like, "Is she okay?" and "Are you lying?" And one bold fan yelled, "Yo, King, blink twice if this is for promo." It was madness. Police had to step in, security doubled, and suddenly the hospital looked less like a medical center and more like the set of a blockbuster premiere. All that was missing was a popcorn stand, and yet through all of this, Tiny herself remained silent. Silent, which only made the drama juicier. Because in celebrity scandals, silence isn't absence, it's gasoline. Every hour she stayed quiet, theories multiplied like gremlins after midnight. Was she too weak to speak? Was she furious at King Harris? Was she secretly plotting her comeback statement? The possibilities were endless, and the internet ran wild. By now, even people who didn't know who Tiny was suddenly had opinions. Your neighbor, your coworker, even your grandma scrolling Facebook was like, "Did you hear about that Tiny collapse thing?" Crazy. When grandmas get involved, you know the scandal has gone global. And that's the power of King Harris's chaos. He turned a family emergency into an international meme festival. But the question hanging over everything, the thundercloud that refused to drift away, was this: what's the truth? Is Tiny's condition really as dire as King Harris swears? Or is this another chapter in his ongoing saga of exaggeration, clout, and chaos? Because if it's the latter, then congratulations, King Harris. You've just outperformed every scandal of the year. But if it's the former, well, then the world just might be watching a tragedy dressed up like a comedy. And that uncertainty, that delicious tension between reality and performance, is what kept everyone glued to their screens. Every refresh of Twitter, every new meme, every shady celebrity post, it all added fuel to the fire. The internet wasn't just watching a scandal, they were binging it, episode by episode, like the messiest series Netflix never had the guts to greenlight. The dust hadn't even settled when the real consequences started to hit. Tiny's collapse was one thing, but King Harris's volcanic announcement? That was the aftershock that cracked the ground beneath everyone's feet. And just like any earthquake, the aftermath wasn't quiet. It was loud, messy, and unforgettable. First, let's talk about Tiny's reputation. For years, she's been the balancing act in the Harris circus, the calm in the chaos, the steady voice next to all the wild headlines. But after this collapse and the nuclear explosion of King Harris's life-threatening update, her image shifted. Suddenly, she wasn't just Tiny the star. She was Tiny the patient, Tiny the victim of exaggeration, Tiny the unwilling centerpiece in her son's drama documentary. Fans started asking, did she even want this out there? And that question cracked her brand like an iPhone dropped on concrete. Because in celebrity culture, the narrative is everything. Once people think you've lost control of your own story, you're no longer the boss. You're just another plotline. But Tiny wasn't the only one feeling the heat. Oh no, this scandal ricocheted straight back to King Harris like a boomerang dipped in dynamite. At first, people applauded him for being brave, for telling the truth, for keeping it real. But then the cracks appeared. If Tiny was stable, if the drama was overblown, then suddenly King Harris wasn't the hero. He was the villain. The boy who cried wolf, except instead of wolves, it was ventilators and IV drips. Memes roasted him mercilessly. One viral post showed his face photoshopped onto a soap opera actor with the caption, "Next time on Harris Hospital, life-threatening hiccups." Another video edited his announcement over footage of a toddler falling asleep at daycare. The internet is savage, and once it turns on you, there's no mercy. And yet, this is the twist of scandal dynamics. The more people dragged him, the more his name trended. Love him, hate him, mock him, meme him, it didn't matter. Every post, every retweet, every clown emoji only made his star burn hotter. In a twisted way, King Harris won. He pulled off the ultimate celebrity magic trick, turned chaos into clout. Meanwhile, the public outrage took on a life of its own. Fans began protesting outside the hospital, some demanding the truth, others holding "Pray for Tiny" signs like it was a political rally. One woman even live-streamed a candlelight vigil outside the ER doors, complete with gospel music and tears. Did she know Tiny personally? Absolutely not. But in the age of viral scandals, personal connection doesn't matter. Only participation does. And boy, did the public participate. And boy, did the public participate. The media coverage went into overdrive. Pundits debated on talk shows whether King Harris was exploiting his mom's health. One anchor dramatically asked, "Are we watching a son's desperate cry or the performance of a lifetime?" Another compared it to the boy who interrupted his teacher on Zoom class in 2020. Silly, disruptive, unforgettable. And still, the footage of King Harris's life-threatening update played on repeat like a greatest hits track. But the most devastating blow came from within the Harris circle itself. Rumors swirled that family members were furious, that they felt King Harris hijacked a private moment and turned it into an international meme marathon. Insiders claimed arguments broke out behind closed doors. This was about Tiny, not him, one whispered. Another said, he couldn't help himself. He had to make it bigger than it was. And that's the tragedy of it all. While the world laughed, shaded, and memed, a family fractured under the weight of scandal. Still, the aftermath wasn't just pain, it was transformation. Tiny's silence finally cracked days later when she issued a short statement. I'm stable, I'm recovering, and I appreciate the love. Please respect my privacy. Short, calm, elegant, the opposite of King Harris's chaos. And that contrast, it painted him in neon colors. While she appeared dignified, he looked like the ringleader of a circus no one asked for. But don't get it twisted, audiences ate it up. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a brand new saga. YouTube was flooded with explained videos. Podcasts dissected every angle, and fans debated whether King Harris was a villain, a genius, or both. And in today's culture, controversy is currency. For every critic dragging him, 10 more people subscribed, followed, and turned on notifications just to see what he'd do next. And the pop culture ripple effects. Late-night comedians added him to their monologues, TikTok creators used his quotes as sound bites, and parody accounts exploded. One fake account tweeted, "Breaking. King Harris says his phone battery is at 20%. Life-threatening." Over 100,000 likes? The world wasn't just laughing at him. It was laughing with him, around him, and because of him. Then came the serious backlash. Health professionals slammed the chaos, calling it dangerous. Words matter, one doctor tweeted. When you yell life-threatening without medical confirmation, you cause panic. And they weren't wrong. Hospitals faced an influx of calls, fans demanded updates, and resources were stretched thin, all because King Harris decided drama was oxygen. Suddenly, this wasn't just a funny scandal, it was a cautionary tale about the power of exaggeration. Still, Harris didn't back down. He doubled, tripled, quadrupled down. Y'all think I'm lying? He snapped in one video. Y'all can't handle the truth. Cue the A Few Good Men comparisons. Cue the memes. Cue the chaos. It was scandal ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail, fueled by drama, sustained by attention. And here's the wildest part. Instead of destroying him, it might have launched him. Brands started sniffing around, influencers offered collabs, and suddenly, King Harris wasn't just the loud son in a hospital drama. He was a personality, a headline, a commodity. If this was chess, he just moved his pawn into queen territory by accident. As for Tiny, her reputation survived, bruised but intact. Fans still love her, still pray for her, still root for her. But there's a permanent asterisk now. A reminder that when she collapsed, the story wasn't just hers. It was hijacked, amplified, and memified by her own family. That's a wound you don't just shake off. So what's the final takeaway? Scandals don't end, they mutate. Today, it's Tiny collapsing. Tomorrow, it's someone else. Today, King Harris is the villain. Tomorrow, he's the victim. In the carnival of celebrity culture, roles flip faster than pancakes at IHOP. And the audience? Oh, we'll keep watching, keep laughing, keep refreshing. Because scandals are the one show that never gets canceled. And that's the true aftermath. Not silence, not healing, but curiosity. Everyone's waiting for the next twist. Will King Harris reveal a new update even crazier than the last? Will Tiny clap back with a savage diss that reclaims her narrative? Will another celebrity dive into the mess with shades so lethal it needs a hazmat suit? Whatever happens, one thing's guaranteed. The Harris family just secured another season in the never-ending reality show we call Fame, because in the end, this wasn't just a collapse in a hospital, it was a collapse of boundaries, of truth, of dignity. And from that rubble, a new legend was born, the scandal that made even the Kardashians look like amateurs. And there you have it. Folks, the hospital collapse heard around the world, the life-threatening headline that made Grey's Anatomy look like a cooking show, and the scandal so messy even TMZ had to grab popcorn and a stress ball. But let's be real, you're not just watching, you're invested. You've gone from casual viewer to honorary detective, conspiracy theorist, and meme curator all in one sitting. And now I've got one question for you. What's next? Because in the land of Harris scandals, the sequel always drops before the credits roll. So here's what you need to do. Hit that like button like it owes you money. No, seriously, smash it so hard the algorithm files a restraining order. Drop a comment below and tell me, Was this a real crisis or the greatest overacting performance since Cats hit Broadway? And if you're bold enough, give me your wildest conspiracy theory. Because around here, the juicier, the better. But most importantly, subscribe. Subscribe like your Wi-Fi bill depends on it. Subscribe like King Harris depends on exaggeration. Subscribe like this channel is your personal scandal IV drip. Because guess what? This isn't a one-time show. Scandals drop here faster than influencers drop apology videos. And trust me, you don't want to be the last one to know when the next explosion hits. So stay tuned, stay scandalized, and remember, when the drama collapses, we rebuild it bigger, louder, and juicier than before. This is not the end. It's just the latest episode in the never-ending series we call Scandal Spark Boom.